Hi everybody, how are you today? Today's topic is not as fun as exciting maybe as some of the other topics we dealt with, but it's very interesting. It comes up a lot this time of year. Recently, extremely recently actually, this afternoon, a man of 67 years old came and sat down to me and told me that his wife had recently passed away. The issues of death and dying really come up this time of year, Rosh Hashanah. We know when it's a new year, and Yom Kippur, these times, we know it's a new year, and there's an idea that it's decreed basically on Rosh Hashanah who's going to live, who's going to die. And we could tear up that decree, by the way, and I'll get to that in a second. But it's decreed who's going to have a year of life, who's going to have a year of death. So death and dying is kind of part of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, this period of time. So how do we understand it in Judaism? We've gotten a lot of questions on the boards there and the YouTube. How do we understand it in Judaism? So the first thing we need to understand is there's no such thing as hell in Judaism. We don't have this fiery furnace pit where you go down and you're there eternally and eternal damnation and all these things. We don't have it. We do have an area called Gehenna. Gehenna is this place, it's a corrective place where the soul goes to get corrected for the things that it missed out on in this life, which, by the way, teaches us about the importance of living this life to the utmost, living this life to the fullest, getting the most real pleasure out of this world, being godly, being holy, bringing spirituality into the world in all kinds of good ways. By the way, we love to eat, we love to drink, we have a good time. And that's what we mean by being spiritual in a lot of different cases. So we know that we want to limit the amount of time we're going to spend in that place called Gehenna. And then there's a place called Olam Haba. Olam Haba is what we would know colloquially as heaven. Heaven is a place where we go and we bask in the glory of God. We bask in the glory of God and the closeness according to what we accomplished in our life. So we understand that this life is all about what we're going to do spiritually to bring God, to represent God, to be Jewish, to be great, to be spiritual for all peoples. How are we going to do that? That's what this life is all about, to get the instruction booklet and figure it out. What are we going to do in this life? And then we avoid Gehenna, and we have Olam Haba. And if we can do it well, we can have Olam Haba in this world even, understanding our closeness to have meaning in our lives, and understanding the closest we can get to God and be spiritual people. No one really ever thinks about the Jewish people, unfortunately, as spiritual people, but we're really a spiritual people, bent upon making everything count, everything be spiritual, everything uplifted and holy, and give it sparks of holiness. That's what we're all about. That's what the Jewish people are all about. When it comes to death and dying, we understand that there's a spiritual aspect of it also. When we lose somebody, it's really for us to start thinking, what's my life all about? And that's a deep question, it's a big question, but it's a question we need to be asking ourselves because we don't want to wake up one day never having asked it, and certainly we don't want to wake up one day never having answered it. So get an answer to that question. What's my life all about? What am I doing on this planet? Speak to whoever you can speak to. Ask me questions. Ask your local rabbis. Ask your local spiritual leaders. Figure that out. Because we're all here to make a unique contribution. And when someone dies, we know that. And we want to get in touch with it. Start doing it today. Start doing it from this point onwards. We can do it. We can all do it. And we can be great at the same time, as I always say. So death and dying, it's part of Judaism. It's part of life. We need to learn the lesson from it. And you can. Right? It's going to be great. Life's great to live. Use it to the utmost. Live it to the utmost. Have a great Rosh Hashanah.